Welcome back to Everything All the Time. I'm Pat O'Brien along with Court McCowan, and we want to thank Steve Fazio for being on.
Great guest.
It's a tough. You put guys like that in a tough position because right now the public is not on the police side so much, and the bottom line is there are some good cops, great cops, and there are some bad cops, and that's what everybody's saying. And President Obama is at the Dallas funerals right now, speaking, and his speech will become very important.
Yes, and I do agree with you. It's a bad position, and I kind of don't feel like everybody is like against or I don't think it's one side or the other side. I think it's. I think there's a very middle ground where people are walking right now, trying to figure out like what to do, how it can get better. I mean, Chick-fil-A came out and they have these T-shirts that all their employees are wearing now that are supporting police, and it's like I don't think you need to go. I don't think you need to go there. I don't think you need to stir it up more and more and more. I think there needs to be a common ground where everybody can kind of come together and go, all right, there's a problem. Let's address this problem. And what that's going to do, it's going to bring a little bit more awareness to the cops, that, hey, our behavior is being watched, and let's pick it up.
They circle the wagons pretty quickly.
Well,
so that's that. So it was a good conversation.
Yeah.
What were we saying before that?
We were
talking about the Olympics.
Yeah.
A lot of things have gone on. Portugal beats an upset in soccer.
Wow.
And France, they'd played 10 times. In France, Danny Vegas, I'm sorry, we're going to talk a little sports here. He gets
upset. Yeah.
Guys like that don't know anything about.
I thought we were going to make it a whole show, but no.
No, he's just too busy.
Yeah, but the interesting thing was what a game. I'm not a big fan of football.
Soccer,
but it
you will be in the World Cup.
But it was interesting. It was really cool, and
can you imagine the French fans?
Oh well, it's
hosting and lose,
and Portugal to win, and Cristiano Ronaldo, probably one of the 2 or 3 most famous soccer players
number
in
9.
the world.
Everybody had a number 9 when they were growing up.
in the world, and for him to get injured early on and to have to sit there and watch it, and that to go so long. I mean, they were deep into extended time, overtime, whatever you call it in that.
I don't know how they do it.
I don't know
Honestly,
how they.
I don't.
I mean, just running on raw energy and to score that goal, and I mean, France had so many chances to win that.
And they're home.
In their home. I mean, I think it was twice they hit the post, and it was like, oh God, that guy had a kick. He had one shot at it, and it hits the post. It was destined for Portugal.
I did the first American football game in London.
Oh yeah,
at Wembley.
Yeah,
it was Cowboys and Detroit.
I believe so.
And that's what it was.
Okay, if you say so.
And I remember people coming up to me and asking, "Hey, we don't understand your sport." And I get that.
Sure.
But why do they wear pads? That was the one thing. Why do they wear? And also, they could not understand why a player didn't play longer than 3 or 4 minutes. They could not understand the substitution rule.
Well, I think
because in soccer, they just don't.
Yeah. Well, you don't have a lot of concussions in soccer. You don't have a lot
of that. I mean, I don't mean it that. Whoops.
Whoa.
Wow. I don't mean it that way, but I mean they're perplexed at why you'd have to wear helmets. I'm sure they know by now, but this was their first look at it. But the biggest thing was, and substitute, do the players get tired? And I said, well, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah, they get extremely tired. But I just don't think it's, I mean, it's also you don't have any 6'8", 360-pound soccer players out there. And I think if you did, they just mow right down the,
Actually, the new norm in soccer is to be smaller now,
Absolutely.
To be short.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, I cannot. I watched the World Cup once sitting with Pele and Henry Kissinger.
Wow.
And Kissinger's a big soccer fan, too. And I tried to get them to explain it to me and Sean. And they said, you got to divide the field in threes.
Yeah.
And then you keep track of it there. And I'll tell you a story that Kissinger told me. I said, tell me something that I don't know about soccer. And he said when he was working for President Nixon, he was his national security advisor, he brought these maps in and laid them out on the president's desk. And Nixon said, what are you showing me?
In North Vietnam, South Vietnam? No.
He said,
Sorry.
He said, what are you showing me? He said, this is Cuba.
Okay.
He said, and these are soccer fields, aerial view. And Nixon, and that, every president would probably say the same thing, said, I don't understand. What are you trying to say? He said, Cubans play baseball. Russians play soccer.
Russians play
And
soccer.
that's how they found out that the Russians had gone back in there.
Yeah.
Pretty good story.
Pretty good story. By the way, I want to thank you. You got we talk television now and then, and everybody. It's the summer. There's not much to watch
Right.
unless you're a big baseball fan.
Right.
So there's not much on
By
television.
the way, the last 3 days, they've rerun all of my All-Star games.
Yeah, I saw that. Great shots of that, and they had. But you got me into Marcella on Netflix. So it's
How great is that?
that show. A day and a half, 8 hours of television, and I loved it. It is unbelievable.
Let me give you the plot without giving it away. It's on Netflix, and it stars Julia Friel. or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
She's
amazing.
amazing looking, amazing actress, and she is. And this happens in the first minute. So, she's a former homicide detective at that point.
Who's a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah, and she also could be the serial killer she's looking for.
Exactly.
That's the plot.
It's the plot, and it's an English Netflix series. It's
so good.
freaking tastic.
It's called Marcella.
Yeah.
Marcella.
Marcella.
And no wardrobe. She wears a parka the entire.
Pretty much all it is. If you're looking, there's some flashes. There's some skin in there. Not a lot,
Why do
but
you
a
have-
little.
Who cares? What?
Well, come on. You gotta have something interesting going on.
So
But
plot's not good enough.
plot's
for you?
not good enough for
You're
me.
like
I need-
10 years old.
I am. I literally am. But that one was good. And then I also got into on Showtime or on Netflix. There is the brand new DJ AM documentary, and I cannot recommend it highly
Right.
enough.
We had. If you want to know about what sobriety is about, he and I have the same sponsor. In fact, my sponsor kicked the door down
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end. DJ AM was.
I mean,
He was an addict. He was a real addict.
Yeah.
And could not get past it. And he had all the fame that filled all the holes, like I did and you did, but it wasn't enough. And he tragically died in his hotel room when he just thought, well, I'm getting along, I might as well just go out one more time.
Yeah, and I think
Get high one more.
it's also besides that story, which is a very tragic story in that sense. It's such a great story about, I don't understand the DJ world, and to get this perspective on what it was and what he created and how big
Boy,
he
it was good.
Boy was good, and how great it was. It's one of the best documentaries I've seen in a long time. I cannot recommend it highly enough.
Yeah, it's
And-
also on something like AMC or something, but it's free and it's on
free.
TV.
It's on. Yeah, it's on.
And
Netflix,
that's
so.
it. Goodbye. See you next week.